Hello comrades, my name is Fritz, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. On today's show, we are going to be going to Minmus. Yes. Following the success of our moon mission, I'm going to attempt to fly all the way out to Minmus to do another science harvesting session and advance the general state of the civilization that is Kerbal kind. So, let's go off to the vehicle assembly building. Let's focus the window and... oh, I clicked the space plane hangar by accident. I freaked out there for a second. I thought all of our vessels had been deleted. Anyway, yes, I am recording with Fraps. For those of you who watched my Spin Tires teaser, Let's Play teaser, you will of course know that. But, yes, for those of you who didn't, I am recording in Fraps. A much faster and better piece of recording software, and yes, you'll notice that there is now no lag in the vehicle assembly building scene, as I can now demonstrate, which is brilliant. And what we need to do now is, and I should explain, I did download a mod called KW Rocketry. I will be doing a showcase on that, so do not fear that more Kerbal Space Program is coming, so yes, you will no doubt see these parts in action, because they are awesome parts. Ooh, looks like the Titan II rocket. You probably won't know what that is, doesn't matter. What I need now is a fuel tank, so yeah, propulsion. We are going to have to design and fly a Minmus lander. I should probably go for science, actually, like so. And then propulsion. The small fuel tank, I'm going to put 4 external tanks on this time as opposed to 3, because I can have more fuel on board. Actually, I can probably improve my thrust to weight ratio if I attach these little decouplers on angle snap and do that. Well, actually it doesn't matter, because if I recover more parts then it's better, isn't it? So yeah, that will do for now. And I can go for a little LV909 propulsion system, fuel lines like that. So that's my lander, pretty much basic shell done, and utility ladder systems, we can do that as well. Oops, I feel like we selected. There we go. There we are, and that's the basic system setup. Now what we need are some of these newfangled solar panels. Yes, this has unlocked the way to longer duration spaceflight, which means we're not having to constantly rely on batteries, and we can actually get away with transmitting data at will. In addition to that, what we can also do is attach 2 parachutes to the side of the materials bay like that, probably a bit down, there we go, pop that on there, and that will basically just help slow us down, I guess, yeah. And batteries in compilation with the solar panels. We need some electrical, that's a new one, electrical storage device, and we can probably get away with attaching more on there. That works out fine to me. Actually, we don't really need those. We can probably put those on the bottom just to hide them away a little bit. They don't look very attractive. Right, actually I don't think we need them at all. No, we just get rid of them. That's we could, no, we'll just leave them off, it's fine. We have enough power, plus the solar panels will be alright. Science, let's see. We have of course got a thermometer. We don't need 4 of them. We turn off their symmetry and plonk them straight on the side like this. And then, let's see, communotron. Oh, we did mystery yoke containment. I can't forget that. Mystery yoke containment, obviously incredibly important. And we do of course need a communotron. Now I don't know which one's better, the DTS-1 or the 16. I think moderate range communication Okay, well, I think I'm going to go with the Camino Tron because it's a good all-round bet, and it's half as much as the DTS M1. That's good. And there is our fully complete lander. Right, now the hard part begins because... oh, hang on. No. I was thinking about... no, we don't have RCS, unfortunately. It's another mission without RCS. Now, hard part begins because we need to design a successful transfer stage to push us all the way out to the ice haven of Minmus. Now, the LVT-30 engine will be fine for that, so I can obviously attach these radial decouplers on, like so. 4 would actually be good, just to match the 4 external fuel tanks on the lander. That's always a useful way of keeping the whole craft in balance, and also ensuring that you are carrying as much fuel as you can. Yes, very important. Propulsion and the external fuel ducts, also very useful. Right, now we can get to work on the actual exciting bit of the rocket, the boost stage. For this, I have unlocked the... I think I've unlocked the main sail. Yes, the main sail. Brilliant, brilliant piece of engineering. So what we can do is go ahead and attach this structural thing. Now I want to aim for a kind of rocket within a rocket, so we can have the 3 fuel tanks in a stack like we had for the moon rocket, and then we can do simply just put those big orange tanks on the outside. Oh, no, not yet. We don't really need those, considering that we can have a vast amount of thrust at our disposal once we finish the rocket. And 250, we can have those again. Structural, we're going to strut this whole arrangement off like that. This is the first time I've actually done a build through of a rocket, which is I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's something that I can now do with the help of Fraps, because it doesn't lag and distort my audio, so I don't have to kind of re-record things, and it's just a pain in the ass to have to keep doing it. So obviously, now that I have Fraps at my disposal, I can obviously do this. And I need a bit more space between this central core and the external tanks, because they are quite large tanks. And that's about right. That'll do us nicely. And then these big orange tanks should do fine like that. And do we have any aerodynamic attachments on top of those? No. We have these SRB nose cones, but I'm determined to use stock parts for this, because that's modded career mode is just cheating, basically. I mean, people do it, and I don't mind them doing it, but I'd rather keep everything stock, as I'm sure you'll understand. And we can construct kind of a secure lattice work of struts down here, just to keep everything together nicely. And I'm trying to integrate the bigger parts into my new designs, just so I can get used to slowly moving into that new realm of technology. Obviously, it's difficult not having all of the 3-meter parts of it, the 2.5-meter parts available rather, all at once. So obviously, just getting used to them is quite important before we move on to anything else. And I think that's looking like a pretty cool looking rocket. So fins would be nice if we just angle snap those on. There we go. And make sure all the staging's set up correctly. Well, I'm trying to decide whether I should have fewer lines going into the central core or not. I think we have quite a high thrust to weight ratio here already, so I guess we could get away without them. It's certainly possible. I think it is anyway. But there's only one way to find out, as we all know, and that's to launch it, which we aren't quite ready to do at the moment. We're just putting struts on here and making sure everything's secure. I think solid rocket boosters will be a good way to actually make sure that we have everything that we need in terms of power. In which case, what we can do is attach... Actually, we could have gone to structural, couldn't we? These smaller boosters. Can we do that? Seems we can't. Okay. Dim-witted building system. Nope. Apparently not. Okay. Well, we're just going to have to deal with this then. Okay, so what have we got in the staging? These 3 engines ignite, and then these 3 ignite, so we put those down there. Actually, maybe I could put fuel lines if I'm going to ignite them at the same time. Yeah, that'll be fine. Those will burn up pretty fast, and then drop off and leave the central stack. Then the 3D couplers go off there like that, and then that fires up the engine. We want to have that in its own separate stage with this central engine, and then these 4D couplers go. That's fine, that's fine. Right. Minmus Rocket 1 is go for launch. I will see you at the launch pad. Okay, we're here with... Well, I can't actually see who it is, actually. Can we... No, I can't see. Anyway, actually, we get to the tracking station. And... Jebediah. Okay. My screen is a little off-center, which is slightly annoying. But yes, Jebediah is at the helm of the Minmus rocket. Of course, Nedry was our commander last time out. But now... Jebediah stepped back into his role as chief test pilot. So, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, main engine start, liftoff. We have liftoff of Minmus Rocket 1, 30 meters per second with the massive mainsail motors. And yes, I believe our contract's up here. I still need to test that decoupler, so yeah. Gotta bear that in mind for my in-between episode break. So I do that because I can't keep leaving that up there because I might fail the contract. 110 meters per second. We're already a kilometer up. These mainsails are doing an astonishing job. They are tossing us up at insanely high speed through the atmosphere. Those smaller engines are only adding to the massive power that we have at our disposal. 135. This launch is going well. 2.2 kilometers up. We don't really need to start our gravity turn until about 10 kilometers as usual. Although I'm not too sure how the rocket's going to hold up when the 3 outer tanks are jettisoned. That could be an interesting development, seeing as we're going to lose all of that additional power. 160 meters per second, just crossing that boundary. And Jebediah seems happy, everything is in order. We have some way to go until our initial kick into the gravity turn. 180 meters per second. Those liquid fuel boosters are actually holding out pretty well. You can probably throttle down a bit more because we are going to reach 200 meters per second before we get to 10 kilometers. We're only just passing the 5 kilometer boundary. So essentially we need to just conserve as much fuel as possible because we are going to lose a lot of that boost when we jettison the outer tank. As I said, nothing really interesting happening. We've passed the 200 meters per second mark, and we still have some way to go actually. If we check out our orbit, 10 kilometers. Okay, so we're almost there. 7.9, going up pretty slowly in fact. This is going to be a long launch. And there's the 10 kilometer mark. We can start kicking over into our gravity turn at 300 meters per second surface speed. So in that case we can go over just a little bit more than we need to, just to gain that excess lateral velocity that's always helpful to us when we're firing ourselves into orbit. Those external tanks are going to run out quite soon, and we'll have a fully fueled central core of 3 rocket engines pushing us further into the atmosphere. And there's the 400 meter per second mark. Checking the orbit out, 25 kilometers. Still got quite a large way to go, but now that the atmosphere is thinned out a little, we can start worrying less about having enough oomph to fire us into the higher reaches of the atmosphere. Now we are accelerating very fast with these mainsail engines, and the fact that the atmosphere is thinning out, the air is beginning to release its hold on the rocket, and we are on a one-way trip, well, hopefully not a one-way trip, a very fast, wild ride into space. And 50 kilometers. Okay, we are doing a nice job of keeping the rocket on a stable trajectory. I'm going to zoom out a bit for stage acceleration. Isn't that a lovely scene? There go the 3 outer rockets, and we are still accelerating. We are quite high up, as you can probably see. This is a much, much more efficient design than the Vlad the Tormentor machine that we took into the vicinity of the moon, and we are passing the upper reaches of the atmosphere. We've just crossed the 70 kilometer mark. I'm going to throttle down a little because I've forgotten to put reaction wheels on this, and I don't want it to flip out and kill me. That would be quite awkward, and we need to keep accelerating, but it doesn't seem to want to tilt over. It is quite a heavy lower stage, so we need to be careful about how we handle this thing. And we slowly push ourselves into a much steeper turn, 48 kilometers up, 1,167 meters per second, that's 1.17 meters per second, sorry, 1.1 kilometers per second, 1.1 meters per second. That would be worrying. And yeah, we can probably, we're at 87 kilometers, we have burned far too much. And out we go into Minmus orbit. Well, hopefully into Minmus orbit. And we seem to be swaying around a little. "45 seconds is a good place to start your orbital insertion burn. Or back out to 1 kilometer per second. We did of course lose speed whilst flying up into the atmosphere. Stabilize the rocket there, lock it in place on the velocity vector. Oh, turn it off accidentally. That stack of 3 engines is pushing us up lovely into orbit. And we can't do any science at the moment. We have all that we need for the mission ahead. Fuel lines, solar panels, batteries, science modules. Everything that we could possibly have asked for. Now I'd quite like to establish a kind of refueling outpost around Kerbin orbit. Is that lathe in the background? Yeah, lathe. Just so it's a place where we can stop on our way to interplanetary missions. I can get rid of this. And we're almost in orbit, circularizing as we insert ourselves into orbit. That's primarily the reason that we obviously kicked into the gravity turn, because we want to gain as much lateral velocity as we can. Our upper altitude is pretty high up. What is it? Let's have a look. 103 kilometers. And simply pushing ourselves and circularizing. Oh, there we go. Main engine cut off. We are in orbit. We do still have, let's see, what we should probably burn through that entire tank. 21.62 units of fuel. It might be worth just dumping it as we go, because it's not really going to help us, but every little helps, obviously in the long run. But yes, what we now need to do is work out how we can get a Minmus encounter. We'll just set it as a target, and we need to look at our ascending and descending node to see how far out we are. 5.9 degrees. Okay, we can do an orbital correction burn. So we can add a maneuver like this. 0.7, and can we... okay, so we need to just nudge it up here. 1.2, 0.7, 0.4, 0.3, pull up there a bit, 0.2, okay, so it gets harder to perform a more precise adjustment, and okay, so that's 0.1, let's just quickly, there we go, that'll do us for now. And it's 240 meters per second, so I think that's where the little stage here that we're using now can come in. It's set to be a 10-second burn apparently, and we have all of the orbit to cover, so we can slowly start trying to tilt ourselves around and find the maneuver vector node. This may take a very long time. Anyway, what's new? Well, for those of you who saw my Minecraft Fritz Island Let's Play video, my building series, I have been doing a lot of work on that recently. I've constructed a couple of the missile silos already. I finished one of them and I'm in the middle of building the second one. A few teething troubles with that one, but nothing that I can't iron out with ease. I don't know if I'm going to finish that project for a long time because I'm back at school soon, so could be a problem. And as for the Exiled Adventures, well, that will be continuing, and I'm doing a post-commentary episode where I just talk more about this sort of stuff, whilst a pre-recorded bit of footage of me just walking in Bandicam actually, so it's going to be quite laggy. Thing with Bandicam, I think I've mentioned this in my Spin Tires teaser Let's Play, is that it compresses your files as you record, which uses up processing power, and of course in due event frame rate, which is why Fraps files are so massive. In effect, for those of you who have recorded with Fraps, you will of course be able to testify. And we might run out of fuel before we complete the burnout. There we go. Well, that's a lot of Delta V. We fired that stage away from us. Slowly just moving it back onto its velocity vector, and 8. Oh. I think we burnt a bit too far. Yeah, we did. I hit C instead of X. That was a bit irritating. Anyway, this episode is quite a long episode because this could be the last episode of Kerbal Space Program that I'm able to record for a while, so I may as well just make it a big one. I probably won't be landing in this episode. I'll probably get into orbit around Minmus, because I obviously had that thing where I built the rocket with you guys instead of just having it in a fast forward sequence. And 5.3 meters per second to kill off. We can try and get this as precise as we can. Precision engineering. Can we do it? 2.7, kick up the throttle a little bit. 2. There we go, 0.0 meters per second. That's such a tiny thing, it doesn't really matter. And okay, 0.4 ascending node. Well, that's tragic. Anyway, yes, we need to plot a maneuver node out to Minmus. So I'm thinking roughly somewhere about here. Minmus does orbit pretty fast, so oops. Can we pull our apses all the way out to there? We need to be careful not to fire ourselves into Kerbin escape, because that would be bad. Aha, we got pretty close it seems. And can we get an encounter though? Yes. Periapsis is 1,000,000. Oh, crap. 24 kilometers. Perfect, that's exactly what we want. Right. 913 meters per second. We certainly have that amount of Delta V in our pockets. And we can obviously go ahead and simply burn. SAS on, lock that in like that. And time warp all the way around. We're already in this inclined orbit, which is why we managed to get so close. Usually I just burn from a coplanar orbit with the moon. So that would mean that I'd be quite far out as it stands. I should probably, before I do my burn, quick save. There we go. The quick save icon is down the bottom right rather than the top right, which is interesting, but there we go. And it's scheduled to take 1 minute and 36, so 48 seconds beforehand. There we go, perfect. Delta V takes into account your instantaneous velocity, so about halfway before your node you want to start burning. And indeed, the prediction was about right. We need to constantly check how much fuel is in the outer tanks, just so we know when to dump them, because they will become dead weight eventually. And once we begin pulling ourselves out of Kerbin's orbit, it'll start to expand much faster. Our perhaps isn't quite 1,000,000 yet. We've got 300,000 left. But we should manage that with ease. This engine is quite efficient as it stands. Yeah, I'd say so. We are chewing through that fuel pretty fast though. Well, I can't seem to get a proper, actual Minmus encounter, which is very odd. The maneuver node's telling me something different. So I'm going to have to wing it a little bit and see if I can correct my course on the fly, which should be interesting. Can we cancel this? Get rid of that, and let's see. We can probably fling ourselves around a bit. There we go. 200 kilometers. Okay. Can I find my Minmus periapsis? Obviously not. Can we? 490, okay. 299, that's good, we're going down. And 178. Okay, well, there should be fine. 138 will do nicely, I think. And it's only a 28 meter per second course correction. I can see Minmus just behind the moon. Over there where my mouse is. It would be so much more useful to have RCS and unlock that before we do anything else. And we're tracking right on target. And T. Make sure we actually get this done properly. Before we do anything else, because I really want to actually get into orbit around Minmus. Yoink, like that. Hang on, how many seconds have we got? 5 minutes. Okay, we can probably zoom in and then try and get as close as possible. 2 minutes 6, we need less than that. Whoa. 12, can we go for that? Yes, okay, right, 12 meters per second. Yes, we have an encounter with Minmus. Perfect. Right, we can turn off our RCS because that will affect our... and then kind of just tweak our orbit. Just so it's on the right line. Okay, we can work with this, I think. There we go, 0.0, we are done here. And there is our encounter. We had a quick save. We are of course on Minmus escape. Or moon encounter, that's slightly embarrassing. Anyway. Yes. Minmus encounter indeed. And we're going to slip around the back side of the planet and then come rushing back. So we need to be prepared. And it's 162 kilometer periapsis, which isn't bad, I guess. I think we could have done this more efficiently and burned at the right time. But yeah, whatever. Let's see. Whoa. We don't want to miss. And, oh, well, it looks like we're going for a direct approach trajectory. That's interesting. Well, it looks like we're going to be landing this episode then. That's certainly an intriguing development, to say the least. But it looks like we're going to go straight ahead and do a Minmus landing, because I can't be bothered. And I don't think we're going to have enough fuel to go for an orbital insertion maneuver. Now, let's see. We are in a rather cool biome of Minmus, and on the light side, which is good. We haven't actually attempted a Minmus landing in this Let's Play, because we skipped onto the next version of Kerbal Space Program mid-mission, so this will be a first, certainly. And 14 kilometers. We really want to start burning now, I think. This is more of a suicide burn than anything else, because oh, look at that. Screenshot. Cut the throttle like that. 119. Well, I certainly didn't expect to be landing this episode, but there we go. And I can probably time warp down, because, whoa, not that far. Can I see a shadow? Well, what's my radar altitude? Put it that way. I'm not moving yet. Oh, there we go. 90 meters. I'm not going to be able to land with this stage, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that. Watch it fall away. We don't want to hit them on the way down. I'm going to use it as a tester to see how long we have before we hit the ground ourselves. And I can actually see our own spaceship approaching, and there they go, about to hit the ground. Looks like a pretty steep area they'll be landing on. Wow. And oh no. I have cocked this up a bit. You see, I've accidentally jettisoned the engine. Like that. Which, okay, well I didn't want to do that. So I guess we're just going to have to fling it off. Da 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 da, dun 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 dun, da da dun 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 dun, and hope that we don't actually kind of crash, which is what usually happens when this sort of thing happens. And yeah, we might just crash, but it's fine. See, can we kind of... Okay, we can't warp when ship's under acceleration. Well, we could be here a while, so we are perilously close to this ridge as well, which is surprisingly awkward. This fuel can't be lasting that long. I mean, surely we burned quite a bit of it on the way down. Yeah, there it goes. Perfect. And we can go ahead and drop the landing legs. Point to retrograde, which is now towards the planet. Okay, we can now attempt a landing. We are going down towards the ground, which is probably a relief. And 3.7. We are still on an orbital trajectory, so we can probably attempt to do something like this. I don't particularly want to land on this ridge though. Well, I do, but I don't want to land here because it's far too steep for me to attempt a landing. Let's see, we need to point south, don't we? Do I need to point south? Yeah, eastward rather. Probably start to try and pick up speed over to this direction, like this, and try sort of steer the craft, using the engine obviously, to push myself into a retrograde position, and wait until we start straddling this ice ridge, which is when we can start our kind of... and we can probably do it now, if I'm going to be honest. That's fine. We can just slowly tilt over now. Probably put it a bit steeper. And... right, okay. So we need to kind of straddle this knife edge, try to bring it down to one piece. I think we can do that. It doesn't look as sharp as it seems, and it's quite a long way down if we miss, so yeah, comforting. Bring it down, and I think we have missed. Probably cancel out that velocity, try to stay on the ridge. We need to be perfectly straight up and down before we do anything else. So yeah, we've screwed this up. Hang on, just adjust this. Yes, right, we've stopped that slow movement to the right, and we can probably begin coasting over to the left. And yeah, straight down towards the ridge would be helpful. Cut the throttle, spin around. If I can find my shadow. I can see my shadow now. Brilliant. Approaching rather rapidly as it happens. If I had landing lights I'd be able to tell. But okay. 30 meters per second, there's my shadow. 14 and there. Okay, this is going to be a pretty steep landing, I think. I fear. And yeah, we're going to need to just twitch over to this side. Bring it down very gently. There's the shadow. We think we're going to miss the ridge entirely. 9 meters per second. Well, this ridge is confusing my radar altitude. 4. Luckily, this 4 tank arrangement is going to increase our center of gravity. And we are really close now, as you can see by the shadow. We need to be so careful how we bring this down, because we could go rolling down that slope like nothing else. Quick saving before we just... Yeah, 1 meter per second, we can probably cut the throttle and glide, but I'm not going to do that. Because I want to simply... and... contact! Whoa, we don't want to tip, don't tip, don't tip. Perfect. Well, that's the full Minmus mission for you. Join me next time when we will open up the materials bay and other such things, and do some science. But in the meantime, my name is Fritz, and I will see you next time on Kerbal Space Program.